This is TrueNorthTV, powered by Communitech. From Waterloo Region, Ontario, Canada, to the world. The conversations you need and want to hear from interesting people on topics at the intersection of technology and humanity. Tech for good. Let's get started.
Thanks, Talia. Hello and welcome to another episode of True North TV. I'm Ian Klugman and I'm your host. Few events in history have been more disruptive to our economy than the COVID-19 pandemic. And nowhere is that more apparent than on our main streets of our communities where, with the exception of a lucky few, business owners are struggling for their survival if they haven't already closed up shop. These are tough times for small business owners, no doubt. At the same time, these are times of opportunity, a chance for Main Street entrepreneurs to adapt to the new reality, try new approaches, and leverage technology to strengthen their connections to customers. To that end, a series of programs was launched in June of this year under an initiative called Digital Main Street. And my three guests are Rosie, who's the owner of Bahar Fashions based in Brampton, Ontario, Rose, founder and declutter coach at Really Organized Now, or RON in Toronto, and Mike, owner of Little Chief and Company, a pet supply shop in St. Catharines, Ontario. Rosie, what kind of impact did the pandemic have on your business?
Well, for me, COVID-19 brought business basically stopped. There was no business. You know, there's something that what I do is it's apparel, it's jewelry, it's dressing up girls, it's weddings, it's functions. And the peak time for my business really is from March till I'd say October, November. So this whole year definitely has been shut down. But having the opportunity to build my website has been extremely rewarding. I've learned so much, and I'm still learning a lot.
Where are you at in the journey?
Learning to market, learning to be with the social media, learning photography, joining blogs, joining talks, and just at this point, just teaching myself, not expecting any sales.
How loyal is your customer base? Have you lost customers since COVID, or have they stuck with you?
Oh, no, I have not. I have not lost customers. If anything, through my website, I have found new customers that have trusted me enough, because it is. I mean, even for me to buy somebody off of a website, I don't know who this is, and I don't know what kind of quality they are selling. Is money worth it? So I have got more customers on, and anybody who has been my customer, I cannot say if they've ever left.
That's fantastic. I think I want to invest in your company, just for the record, Rosie. Mike, what's it like out there? How crazy is it?
I think it's a Wild West out here right now. I think that businesses are trying to figure out how they're going to pivot and move into the space. Thankfully, we're a small boutique, and a lot of the big box stores couldn't pivot in time. So we were actually in development, so we could actually move really fast and make smart moves that really benefited our community and our store essentially. But it's exciting. It's stressful, but you just got to keep plugging through. And the support from our customers and our community has been so immense. And I think they understand what we're offering. So it's been great.
Obviously, the Digital Main Street program has been important to you. What are you working on? What are you learning? What has surprised you about what works and what doesn't? Tell me a bit about some of the strategies you've deployed and some of the things that you've taken away from this.
For me, learning Google, SEO, all that stuff, those tools have been really vital for us to understand, and actually seeing how Instagram, the conversion from Instagram is really vital. Facebook really hasn't been working for us a whole lot, but that's okay, because that's our clientele is really millennial based, and that just really tells us that where our audiences are or our customers are essentially. But in terms of we're trying basically campaigns that we were working with a couple of people on devising, working with influencers to push that out there. And it's not just about like tag us and follow us. It's actually trying to create content and actually ignite some type of creative and some type of story with people when they're posting. At the end of it, hopefully our store can actually halo that idea and that concept, but it really does feed into our community, helps them grow, helps them understand what we're doing, and actually creates a conversation. That's what we're all about. So doing that, hopefully our store does get some benefit from it, but it's really about igniting our community.
So at the end of the day, I guess, given the fact that, this pandemic is going to fundamentally change a lot of things in our lives, one of which is the fact that, if proximity really doesn't matter, big boxes don't have the dominance they would have had in the past. At the same time, they're big brands, not just big box stores. Is there an opportunity for you to own the world as far as, dog care products, toys, games, clothing, etc.?
I think right now we're seeing a shift in the market itself. People are looking for quality, they're looking for sustainable, they're looking for non-toxic. So I think this is where that industry has to shift. Our store is really about education, and we want to actually change the market. So if we're the leader of that and other businesses, even big box stores, follow us, and businesses or brands start creating more products that are, again, follow with our values, that's how we're going to make an impact on the world. That's how we're going to grow. And really, I don't know if I want to be in every corner of the world. I want to make sure that we're in the corner of the world that actually really is caring about the world, the health of their dogs, and really our community.
Does it never end to surprise you how much money people are willing to spend on their dogs and their pets?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we see. I mean, we do have some really like cool gear and clothing and collars, but everything has to have a sustainability perspective to it, or locally based, or work with rescues and charities. So that's always the halo effect or the glowing effect of that we want to offer. But yeah, I mean, people they spend a lot of money, and because their family, the dogs are part of their family now, and they want to make sure that they have the best life possible.
Got to ask you this question though, Mike. Do you have a dog?
I've got 2.
All right. What message would you send to other businesses about what you've learned, the journey you've been on, and what they could get out of tapping into the services of the Digital Main Street program?
Not to give up. That's my biggest thing that I have learned, and I had given up. April, May, I was just like, okay, this is just I have to pay my credit cards. I have these debts to pay. There's nothing coming in. This is my peak time. But going in and building that website and having that hope, at this time, I think the best we can do for ourselves and others is just this time will pass. We have to remind ourselves that over and over again, which I do every day. Something like a pandemic starts and pandemic ends, and let's take this time to teach ourselves and grow what we have. Right now, there's no sales, but I am able to learn about the products that I get, and I'm able to write blogs on it. I'm able to just reach out at this point.
So Rosie, you're a bridge back to India, and you're spending a bunch of time working with women who are back there. Tell me a bit about what you're doing and why you're doing this.
I do have my aunt back in India that helps me out, and I do ask her that if she does know of ladies that are into this business, I invest my money and time with the products that they make, like this what I'm wearing right now, right? So this is something that's handmade, and it's made by a woman, and a lot of times, a lot of women in India, they do say, they're like, people don't invest the time in us because we're no big brand. And I feel that we need to give opportunity to everybody, because, you grow from something small, and then opportunities all is needed.
I just think it's great that you're making an impact, not just here with women here in Canada, but also with women back in India. Rose, you're a professional organizer. Are your kids organized?
I would love to say that they are. I have been down the road from since they are small till now, like they are grownish young men in their early 20s. And I still, on occasion, have to be, could you please pick up the stuff in your room? Could you please tidy up? all of those things. But when they were younger, design different methods and processes and sheets and given stars and reward programs. And I did the gamut.
Fantastic. Rosie, got a quick question for you. How big is your closet? Because I'm imagining you bring stuff in and you fall in love with it and you're like, I'm not going to sell this. This is mine.
I do have to hold myself back, and thank God for my husband. He's like, oh, this isn't going into your closet. Yes, it's very pretty, but if I really love it, I'll get 2 of them. But no, my closet is not that big at all. No, not at all. You know what I do enjoy doing though, Ian? I enjoy dressing someone else up. I get a joy out of that. You know, dressing them up with jewelry, dressing them up with the outfit that they have planned in their head, and then we get it ready and we make, you know, their dreams sort of come to reality. And at the end of it all, and you know, there are girls that come to me and then they say, oh, I'm overweight, or I'm not pretty, and I'm not. I got a lot of girls that come with such low self-esteem, and I tell them, do not follow fashion. Fashion is what you believe in, what you feel good in. And at the end of the day, that's fashion.
Mike, favorite, least favorite dogs?
A lot of rescues are fantastic dogs. Pure breeds are great too. It's really, the dog has to fit your lifestyle and what works for everyone. So I can't pick one that I don't like. You know, I got to Boston about 6 years ago, and I didn't think I was a small dog kind of guy. And sure enough, 5 years later, he's got his own store. So, I mean, I think that says a lot.
Okay. This session is really to talk about Digital Main Street, and for you to tell our viewers, what value you've gotten out of the program, and would you recommend that if they're owners of small, medium-sized businesses, would you recommend that they tap into digitalmainstreet.ca?
Definitely say take the plunge. You may be afraid because it's something new. Not everybody does the online, but the amount of help I got from them and assistance, and a overall great experience.
Mike, would you recommend Digital Main Street to other small business owners, and if so, why?
100%. I'd recommend people take the dive, apply for the grant, use it. They were super resourceful for us. The grant actually allowed us to survive and launch our website. It was vital to our survival. We were deemed essential during COVID, and this just kept our lights on and allowed us to grow, actually. We actually did the second phase of it called future proofing, that we worked with the team, and they really addressed a bunch of my concerns and a bunch of problems that I was trying to correct, from campaigns to shipping. It was really robust, really helpful. It was 6 weeks of having a team behind you that's really supporting you all the way through and doing a lot of the homework for you. So again, I can't say thank you enough for them and the gratitude for the campaign, both programs that I was a part of. It was honestly vital to our business and vital to our growth.
Rose, experience with digitalmainstreet.ca, helpful?
I would completely, once again, like everyone else on the panel, totally recommend the Shop Here program. A couple of things from me that came through very strong was a renewed sense of confidence, because I did not have an online presence in terms of a website prior to coming on. And a lot of my business is based on mouth-to-mouth or person-to-person referrals. What it has allowed me to do now is expand the reach, expand, what type of clientele that I can approach, what kinds of offerings that I can actually give my clients or potential clients, being able to be more accessible to them now, because I also now offer a virtual organizing session, whereas I did not have that before.
The program, of course, is supported by a whole host of organizations across southern southwestern Ontario, and by the federal government and the province of Ontario. Minister Joly, Minister Sakaria, what would you say to them for making all this possible?
I would say thank you. Thank you for making it available to people at different stages in their business. It wasn't just catering to businesses that were already established or really making, a real inroad in terms of meeting the consumers. And it definitely gave me a little bit more than I anticipated. Quite honestly, I didn't know what to expect with the Shop Here program, but I found that the team was great and the experience itself, because of the ease of it, was really, really important to me.
For me, it was such a ray of hope. Business being stopped, and now there's this opportunity to reach out to your clients through online, and again, a whole new way of establishing your business, and learning new ways again. So yes, definitely thank them for that. Yes.
And Mike.
Yeah, I just want to take time to thank them for the program. I think it was really ahead of its spot in terms of like what they were thinking. Obviously, COVID wasn't on the agenda when they were developing it, but then listening to businesses and the needs changing. I think that was really important. As I go through the second phase of it, they understood what I was going through. I think they were empathetic, and I think they actually helped me a lot to understand what I need to do to be future-proofed. So it's been great. Thank you again. It's been super vital for our business.
How did you get here? What led you to this business that you're now running? Was it something, you woke up one day and said, God, I should do something really, really hard that I might fail at? Like, take us back a bit to how you got here.
I worked as a pharmacy technician for 16 years at St. Michael's Hospital. Had a fun time there. I have 3 kids, 12, 9, and 6. After my my third one, we decided, Jazz, my husband, and myself, that we would, one of us would stay home and take care of the kids at that time. So it was me. I said I would stay home, and Jazz said he would work, because our whole paycheck would go towards the babysitting and the daycare, and they wouldn't even get that same care. So stayed home for a year, did the whole mom, the cooking, the cleaning, didn't jive with me too much. So I enjoy fashion, I enjoy boutique, I enjoy clothes, I enjoy jewelry. So sat down with Jazz and I said, this is something that I would love to pursue. And he's a great supporter. Started from very little, started from jewelry, and then started into boutique, started speaking to, finding people in India, mostly women that were actually trying to start up their own business. Business was definitely going well until, COVID-19 entered our lives.
Rose, how did you get here? What's the journey that led you to this business? Were you one of those super annoying kids who was always organizing everything when you were little?
Not super annoying as a kid, but as a younger person, I used to be, I guess I tailored more on the side of perfectionism during school and things like that. But I do have a little bit of a caveat. I started off being a really bad procrastinator as a kid. I remember being that kind of kid that would wait till the last minute to study for tests or hand in projects. But outside of the school environment, at home, I was very much organized, detailed, very much of everything in its place. And I think that came a little bit because of how I grew up and how my mom kept our home. And so that kind of always stuck with me, the principles that she had. When I started having children and I became a young mom at, in my mid-20s, I realized that a lot of the principles that my mom had shown me growing up were becoming very useful to me in terms of organizing my time, because while I was having children, I was also working. So yeah, it's been a journey in getting here. During the course of maybe the late 90s, moving into the early 20s, I started seeing that organizing was receiving a title, and organizing was becoming a thing across the borders, like in the US. And it started, exploding pretty much in the early 2000s, where professional organizers were actually being regarded as an actual thing and a profession. the thought of being my own boss at the time was not necessarily something that I was looking to do because I had a pretty good job in payroll as a supervisor. As time went on, the company that I was working for about a decade and some, they eventually were downsizing. They were being bought out. And I came to a point where I had to choose whether or not I was going to move to the company to Alberta, or if I was going to stay here. And I found myself questioning, what is it that I really wanted? And that led me little bit by little bit to the point where I said, okay, I'm going to give entrepreneurship a try. For years, people had been telling me, why are you working for someone else? I know that's a common theme that a lot of people do, especially you're caught up in the 9 to 5. Why are you working for someone else? And that was a big question for me. Why am I working for someone else? Why am I putting in so many long hours overtime? Not being home with my kids and everything else like that. And I really decided to kind of start looking down that road, and really Organized was born. Eventually I got into a women entrepreneurial program, which I registered for, I got into, and I started learning some of the basics of starting a company and what were the elements that were required to do it in a structured way, and finished the program, got out of the gates, with gangbusters, and thought to myself, okay, I can do this. Like, this is really going to work. And I thought professional organizing was a viable business model for me.
That's just such a great story. Mike, how'd you end up here? What's the story?
So it's a passionate play for my wife and I. Basically 15 years ago, we had an Airedale, a big dog. And we couldn't find anything that was sustainable or healthy. It was just all the same big box store stuff. But I kept finding really neat stuff in Toronto and other markets that wasn't available in our area in Niagara. So we just kind of kept watching and looking at the market and seeing what's happening. One of my more recent jobs, I was actually working in Europe, and I saw they took a whole different approach to dog care. They have big box stores, but definitely more boutique and holistic and health-based. So looking in Berlin, London, Paris, I was seeing these stores and I was like, we need to bring this to Canada. And our passion for finding great products, my wife being a geologist, geochemist, and environmental engineer, allowed us to vet these products and look into finding these products that are local too. November 2018, we decided let's go and do the dog store. We signed a lease, and April 2019, we are open. And we've been really enjoying our community, enjoying our support of the community. And I think they understand our value proposition that we're offering them is the fact that we're sustainably sourcing products and finding great companies that are Canadian-based too, if not North American-based, that are servicing the pet community.
How did pandemic change your business, Mike?
Well, I mean, honestly, the first year we focused on our brick and mortar, and we had a small online store, and we were in the process of growing, and we were about to launch our full online store in the 1 year anniversary of it. Obviously, that was April. COVID was coming and affecting a lot of different places, markets around the world. Thankfully, in our web design, my designer identified it too. And so we decided to double down on our website, knowing that things are going to change, our doors may be going to lock. So we adapted. We had, relentlessly adapted and started offering curbside and local free deliveries, and really looking for an end-to-end solution that, basically reach out to our community that's local, but also beyond that across Canada. So our online store was really the play that we moved into.
I wanted to take an opportunity to thank the three of you, three such different and yet three such exciting companies that are merging with growth out of this pandemic. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching this episode of True North TV. To catch the next episode, subscribe to Communitech's channel.